After set up the match, and we can go into the record interface and get to the initial and very important parts of our system, just that how to take the record. Okay, if we want to enter the record interface, we must enter the match interface again. Just set up, but we have already set up the match, so we just click the match number 1. So the information has already been here because we have already set up the match before. Okay, now we press start. The record interface will show up correctly. This is a real handball court here. And we can see that there are many function keys. And now let's get up to the function keys. First, the halves. The halves means that this is the first half. If we want to change halves, we just have to click halves. Because we don't have the records now, so maybe we cannot show how to change the halves. Later, we will show it. Ends. Ends means that the team will sit at this side and this side. But before the match starts, often, usually we will have a coin toss. One team will choose the ends which they will sit and begin to attack. Another team will choose to attack first. So this is a bench, substitution bench. If after the coin toss, China will not sit at the left side. China will go right, Germany will go left. So we just choose ends to change it. Pay attention to this. Change ends is the first thing we must do before we take in the records of our system. Because once we take any records of this match, the system will think that you have already started the match. So change ends will be impossible. So change ends will be the first thing we must do to start the match. After the coin toss, you just pay attention to the two different teams, which one is sitting at the left, which one is sitting to the right. If there is no change, no changing ends. Let's go to hint. Hint means that there are many picture icons here. If we put our mouse on one icon, there are letters to show which the icon means. This is what we mean hint. If we don't want it to show, we can just to click a hint to change the configuration and to have it not showing the text of hint again. Print is just print different tables. Configurations to change different configurations, just like to change the court color. You can take the favorite color as you like. Normally, we choose this one. This one will be beautiful for us. And we can choose toolbar model. Toolbar mode, and this is now is icon, but for some Arabic countries and for some countries which didn't speak English so often, they would like to choose text. Let's see how is text work. It means all the icon will change into text. So if you like the text, you can choose the text. But for me, I like the icon, because icon will be very obvious to see which movement it stands. Okay, let's go to the detailed function keys, which one is what meaning. Okay, we can see events to be recorded here on the playing court can put into two different categories, shooting and other events. So the main two things in the court, we can all do it from these function keys. First of all, we go into the shooting. Shooting, we also have two different kinds of shooting. One is the normal shooting, just like the line shot. This is the field shot and the 7-meter throw, and just other different shooting. And spatial shooting. Spatial shooting like the fast break shooting or some errors during the shooting. So shooting have two different kinds. Let's get one by one. For regular shots, we must pay attention to the sports where the player jumps when shooting. That's what we call the jumping sport, the shooting sport of the player. Just the sport where the players jumps when shooting. We must pay attention. It's jumps. It's not the players landing. It's where the players jumps. We call that it's a shooting sport of player. And we must also pay attention to the landing sport of the ball. Just where the ball will landing off in the goal area. So that's we call that is landing sport of the ball. It's very, very important. It's the most two important parts of our shooting records. Let's take a look at of this. And we have a substitution bench here, and we must choose players before the match. For example, for this team, this is for goalkeeper. Because goalkeeper will stand at the same side of the team. For example, Germany sit at the left side, Germany will attack to the right. But the goalkeeper will stand at the left side. It's the same as the substitution bench. For example, number 1 is a goalkeeper. We can click number 1 with the left button on the mouse. Click it and didn't lose it, and drag it to this blank part. It just means we choose the goalkeeper for the team Germany. Without goalkeeper, we cannot take any records of this match. We cannot even start to take any records. So after we change ends, the second most important thing is put the goalkeepers into their position. So for China, for example, is number 12, the goalkeeper, the same way. Click it and drag it here. So the goalkeeper will go into the right position. And for the players in the court, we can see that there is two blank parts here. This is blue. Blue color here means Team Germany. Because Team Germany sit at the left side, he must attack to the right. And Team China sit at the right side, they will attack to the left. So there will be 6 Germany players at here. We have 2 ways to drag the players to the court. One is to click the number and drag it to the court. Any place in the court is okay. It's okay. So we can see that the number 2 going to here. And here substitution bench is gray. It means he is not at the substitution bench. He has already gone into the court. And this we can do like this. But maybe during the match, the substitution is very quickly. We cannot drag every players into the court like this. We have another way to drag the players into the court. That is, we use the right key of the mouse to just click once the player's number. Like, for example, number 4, number 5, number 6, number 7. It's very easy, huh? So we just to use this way. Normally, most of the people will use like this way. But pay attention to use different left mouse and right mouse at different conditions. Don't make the confusement. And we see that a lot of students will confuse about the left and the right. Okay, the same way to choose players from China again. So use the right button of your mouse to choose players to the court. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Just click once. And you needn't to click it and drag it here. It will waste your time a lot during the match. Okay, until now we have the goalkeepers, we have the players. We can notice that there are already many numbers here. It means the records we have already taken. We can click here to have a look at. is 14. 14 is number 7 and the court. We can see that number 30 is number 6 and the court. So every record we take, there will be history here. We can see one by one. And often we can see from one of the kinds of the table in our system. We call that play by play. So that's why we are very important to take the records very exactly and precisely during the match. After we choose all the players, this is seen with that we must get ready to start the match. We can see that the hair is shining all the time. Because of what? Because the time is stopped. He is reminding you that the time is stopped and you must be ready for starting the game at any time. If the referee takes the signals of whistle, we must start the game at the same time. Okay, we click here, the clock. We can see 3 icons here. This means start. This means clockwise. This means anti-clockwise. Anti-clockwise, if we choose it, we can see that it will go from 30 to 29 to 28 until to 0. But for most IHF handball tournaments, we use from clockwise, from 0 to 30 as for one half. So we just use this and we are just getting ready to start the match. And until the referees give the signal of whistle, we start it, click it. It will not shining anymore. And we can see that this is a tournament code. There is a group, there is a match number, there is competition day. And the time is going to running from now. Okay, until now, the match has already been started. Okay, we can see that the time is running and it's nearly to the 30 minutes. We can see what happened next. Okay, I didn't do anything. The clock will stop automatically. Because according to the rules, for each half at the normal competition, it will be 30 minutes. It will never happen like that 31 minutes or 32 minutes. So in case that we will forget to stop the clock, the system will stop the clock at the 30 minutes. It means that it's the end of the first half or it's the end of the whole match. So at the 30 minutes, we can see that it's stopped automatically. Okay, and during the half break, we may check with our data, with the scoreboard, with the table officials. After that, we need to change halves as we have a brief introduction at the beginning of our operation instructions. I said that we must change halves. Let's see how to change halves. The first function is halves. The second one is change ends. Didn't you remember that? Okay, this is halves. We click once. Because we connected to live broadcast at the beginning of our match, so it will ask us again, is on. Are you sure to end the half? Yes. If we just choose no at the TV broadcast, it will be dangerous because the second half there is no data sending for the TV broadcaster. So we just choose yes. So we can see that it's second half. It's a new half. And this is two teams change ends automatically. Because the second half, they will change the attacking position. One, China at the first half is attacking to left. But now the second half, China is attacking to the right. Okay, for now, this is for the normal. We have two halves at one match. But maybe at the placement or at the quarterfinals, semi-final, or final, if we have tied scores at the end of the second half, we may have extra time. So we can see we change halves again. we can see that we go to extra 1 to 1. It means the first half of the first extra time. We change again. This means the second half of the first extra time. It will be 5 minutes. It will be stopped automatically again. Let's change halves again. This means the first half of the second extra time. Okay, change again. The second half of the second extra time. And if unfortunately we still have the same scores, we must go to the final stage, the 7-meter throw, to decide which one is a winner. Okay, 7-meter throw, in fact, the competition will have the 7-meter like this. Both two teams will have 7-meter throw to one same side. Just they will change goalkeepers when another team is going to throw the 7-meter throw. But because our system is designed like this, we cannot do like at the same side, both two teams have the 7-meter throw. So in fact, the two teams, for example, may have a 7-meter throw to left. But in our system, we must take the records separately. This means Team China is at the left. So we just choose the Team China's goalkeeper here. And we choose a goalkeeper for Team Germany. And if Germany have 7-meter throw here, it's the same as the fact. But if China still have the 7-meter throw to this direction, we must to take the records to this one. Because in our system, we can only take the records to separate teams. We cannot take the same direction for both two teams. This is the one place we must pay attention to.